Hey guys, it's Andrea Bassett here from Forcemeat Academy, and today I want to talk to you about pâtés and terrines and whether they are gluten-free. So to answer that question simply, it is yes and no. The good news is that a lot of pâtés and terrines are gluten-free by design. You'll find lots of recipes out there that are basically just meat, more meat, some fat, some flavorings like spices, aromatics, maybe some eggs, some cream, depending on what kind of pâté you're making, gelatin maybe even. And these are the ones that are gluten-free by design. Now you'll find another set of pâté and terrine recipes, pâté or terrine recipes, that are with gluten, and these ones generally include either a few tablespoons of flour or a panade or panada, which is a mixture of milk and either breadcrumbs or bread. You mix together, you let it sit, it sort of forms a paste. Now what that gluten does in the form of the flour or the panade is acts as a binder, so to keep the pâté together. The second thing it does is absorbs fat. So, pâtés usually have fatty meats and fat, and sometimes they're wrapped in fat, so there's a lot of fat all together, and the flour or the panade just absorbs that up to create a nice texture. And the other thing, which is sort of related to the first thing, just about binding, is the panade acts as an emulsifier. So an emulsifier is like an egg is like that too, or even mustard. It brings two things that don't want to be together, like oil and water, for example, and makes them together. A great example is salad dressing for that. So that's the skinny on that. Let me just show you. I'm just sitting here and I just look over here and like there's a terrine right here. So let me just bring that up for you. So this is a terrine I made the other day. You can see this layer of fat here. It's mostly just at the top. And if I go here, you can see the texture inside. So this is gluten-free. The recipe is gluten-free. I didn't have to make any substitutions. And as you can see, it's pretty solid. It's stuck together there. I'll just give you another little example because I had a bit out there for my lunch. So this is the texture that it is. It's all stuck together just on its own. And the ingredients for that one is really simple. It's basically just ground pork, ground beef, which is a bit unusual, but I didn't have any ground veal, a pack of bacon, all that mixed up with some spices, and then wrapped in a pack of bacon. And then obviously I weighed it down for about 18 or 20 hours after, and it's got that nice texture there. And that fat on top, whether you think that's unsightly or delicious, you can just scrape that off if you want, and it's not that much. So if you do have a need for a gluten-free terrine, what I recommend is just going and finding a recipe that's gluten-free by design, because there are lots of them out there. The other way is to find whatever recipe you want and then make substitutions for that. This is the harder way to do it, and a little bit more risky. I'm not that great at substitutions. I'm once bitten, twice shy, because I've tried for years to make meatloaf. Well, actually, I always used oats when I went gluten-free, and then after I went oat-free, that was when the trouble started. So if you're great at substitutions, then go ahead and just try to do that. Some substitutions that you could use are oats, gluten-free bread and flour, or flour cornmeal if you like the taste, potatoes even, gelatin, pork rinds, mushrooms even. I read a little something about that. And yeah, so that's one way you could make substitutions. And the other thing is just to grab a good recipe. So I'll just pull this down. I love this book. It's beautiful. It's very informative. And in this book, it's great because you'll find a bunch of recipes that do call for flour or panade. I think mostly a few tablespoons of flour. But then you'll also find recipes that are totally gluten-free, including the recipe that really endeared this book to me, which is, there's no picture, the chicken liver terrine, but this recipe just makes like a mousse-like terrine that, oh, it's like pudding to me. I mean, I don't eat sweets, so take that with a grain of salt. But all that one calls for is liver, whipping cream, wine, and some eggs. And beautiful, naturally gluten-free. So there you have it. The answer is it depends. But this is one of the great news stories, because pâtés and terrines are delicious, and you don't have to do anything special to find a gluten-free one. So if you're gluten-free, or you have people coming over who are gluten-free, this is a great option. Alrighty, so that's all for now. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. It would be great. It's just so far like my husband and some kind stranger, so add yourself to that list. And if you want to read more about this topic, about all the gluten-free issues and substitutions and whatnot for pâtés and terrines, I have an article. I'll link to it down below. And that's all. Hope you have a great day. Bye!